Welcome back, guys. This is the Mind Method Podcast. This is episode number 4, and today we are talking about
our daily routines.
We're
going to talk all about how we like to inject personal development into our day-to-day. Guys, this is a lifestyle. This is something that you are going to want to be practicing day in and day out. But of course, you don't want it to be a burden or a challenge, because this stuff has to be fun. Right?
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what is personal development on the day-to-day? What does that look like?
Yeah. For me, one of the most important things that I like to incorporate into my day-to-day is re-looking at how I wake up and how I go to sleep. And I think we talked about this on our last episode, but we want to be waking up with gratitude. Guys, you have to be waking up, and as soon as you wake up, you want to be thinking of 5 to 10 things that you are grateful for. And you touched on, how many times have you thought about the fact that you're grateful to have feet that are going to carry you everywhere that you need to go on that day? If you cannot think of 5 to 10 things and you start with the most basic, I'm pretty sure you have a roof over your head and you've slept in a bed. Maybe that's your starting point. Be grateful for that. I also like to go to bed that way. So to talk a little bit about brain waves and the way that they work. When we go to sleep and when we wake up, our brain is in the alpha wave. This means that our brain is really relaxed. This is a really great time to start to program those messages into it, because our brain is open and it's really receptive to reprogramming.
Worst time for scrolling on social media, by the way. That's the worst thing.
Preferably, you're not looking at your phone for a good hour after you wake up. And a lot of people have actually gone back to setting an old school alarm and not even having their phones in their bedrooms. Your bedroom needs to be your sanctuary. If you want to be triggering the melatonin so that you can have a better sleep, you want to have a super dark bedroom, preferably no electronics. You want it to be nice and cool. Those are all things that trigger our circadian rhythms to really work optimally. And then as soon as you wake up, it's actually interesting. So I did a sleep course, and it said that one of the things that you should do as soon as you wake up, so for us it would be after the gratitude thing, but you should be in sunlight. You should be getting outside, ideally within 15 minutes. If not, 60 minutes is fine too, but it can be as simple as going to your window and looking outside at the sunshine. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times when I do that, that triggers my gratitude. Because if it's a nice day, even if it's a cloudy day, I'm looking outside, I'm thinking, wow, this is really special. This is such a nice moment. So this is a really nice way to wake up. Your brain is in alpha mode. It's relaxed. Do your I am affirmations. You're going to talk all about your Millionaire Morning, so we'll get into that. For me, I like to do my gratitude. If I have time, if I'm not up with the kids right away, I will also do some I am affirmations, be it by myself, or I'll actually put my headphones in and listen to a track. Such a good way to get yourself going in a good vibration. How about you?
Yeah. So Millionaire Morning's it was introduced to me by my coach, Simon Davis, and mentor, and I had never done anything like that in my life. So the Millionaire Morning was very new, and I'll be honest, as a shift worker, it's not easy. Like, I'm rotating from days to nights, flopping over, sometimes a short changeover where it's like less than 36 hours. You go from a day shift to a night shift. So you go from waking up at 4 a.m. to going to sleep at 8 a.m., which is a lot on the body. But I've learned that my Millionaire Morning can be kind of like a routine, doesn't have to necessarily be in the morning. So what I do is on those days is I do a Millionaire Morning on my way home from a night shift, and then once again throughout the day after I've wakened for the day later on. But on days where I'm working normal hours and I'm sleeping in the night, my Millionaire Morning is something that I've sort of put together on my own, taken from what my mentor has taught me. But it begins with the very first thing is working on some breathing, getting that oxygen in, and 10 I love yous in the mirror. So this part feels really weird when you've never done it before. And especially for men, I don't know what it is about men, but sometimes we have quite a large ego, and it feels weird to talk to ourselves and tell ourselves these affirming things. So I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate to that, but do it anyway. Like, and I always tell guys, like, the weirder and more uncomfortable you're able to be, the more you're able to be vulnerable like that shows your true strength, right? So it's to me, that's more masculine and more manly, when you have the ability to be strong enough to be vulnerable in those moments. So be vulnerable, be awkward, be weird, let it feel awkward, push yourself to do that. And what I like to do is, when I'm looking in the mirror, 10 I love yous, I look in directly into my eyeballs and I kind of talk to my soul. So it's like, I love you. Not like I love you, I love you, I love you. It's I love you. I love you. I love you, man. I love you. You're killing it. I love you. And I'll do that. And then I'm filled with like such a great feeling. And I go right in immediately to my I am affirmation. So I will have, again, this is technically I'm using my phone, but it's not screen time. I'm not scrolling. I'm not looking at emails. My phone is still on do not disturb, silent from the night. So I'm in YouTube and I click up my I am affirmation video, and I have a few go-tos that I use. Usually they're about 10 to 15 minutes. And I sit with my coffee and I start my I am affirmations. And most of them are very self-empowering, like I am calm and I am strong and I am wealthy and I am in vibration with the frequency of wealth, things of that nature. But then there's also ones that are really powerful and have more to do with the power and the law of attraction in the universe, like I am in the flow with the universe and I am in the flow of abundance and stuff like that. So really getting centered, being calm. I like to sit on the floor instead of the couch for these. Sometimes I'll incorporate some like really comfortable yoga stretches, just some really relaxed ones, because I'm just waking up and I'm doing my I am affirmations. So that's the starting 15 minutes. As soon as I'm done that, I move into an alpha wave YouTube video. Yeah, kind of a meditation. I call it a quasi meditation because I don't actually sit there in silence and kind of go to a different state. So for me, my morning gratitude meditation, and this is when I do my gratitude next, number 2, is I like to talk out loud and really feel the things that I'm grateful for. And I've gone down some really crazy paths of things that I've never, before personal development, I never would have thought of. So for example, one morning I'm sitting there and I'm talking out loud and I'm giving these things, each item I'm giving really time and space to really feel grateful for. I want you to feel the gratitude. It's not just making a list and saying, I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for the bed. I'm grateful for the meal. I'm grateful, whatever. You really want to attach really deep, true emotion and intention behind every single item, right? So for me, what that looks like is I am so grateful to have my sight, and that today I will see my beautiful wife and see the smile on my kids' faces. How lucky am I? I am so grateful that I can see. Thank you. That's one item. And I may sit there for 10 seconds after saying it and really feel how lucky I feel to even be able to wake up and see this morning. Another example, like when I said I'll go on to like really like crazy deep stuff that I've never been grateful for. For that example would be, I'm really grateful for even my ancestors. So going back to my lineage, my family came over. My mom's side is English and Irish, and my dad's side is German and Austrian. And so going back to thinking of, there were people in my heritage at one point in time who took a humongous risk, a chance to get on a ship, because this was before airplanes, to leave Europe and go to North America for this new life. And God knows what was waiting for them. They had no idea. They just heard from people who wrote letters and possibly had gone there and come back that this was where they should go to start a new life. I can't even imagine the courage. We have a hard time picking a vacation spot. You know what I mean? Like, in this day and age. So to think that someone without the internet, without Google search, without reviews, without Google Maps where you can plop the guy down and look at the whole street, like, they went into the complete unknown, not knowing what was waiting for them on the other side. That takes courage, that takes heart, that takes a crazy amount of belief. And I was just grateful for those people that I never met, that are like my great-grandparents' great-grandparents, who came to Canada, who came to North America, who started a new life, because if they hadn't, I wouldn't be here. So, and I don't know if many people have ever sat and really thought in gratitude and felt the gratitude for something so far back and something so deep, for decisions that were made by people they've never met that have actually put them where they are now. And so I often think of those people, and I really feel a deep sense of connection and gratitude to them for the struggles they went through. They fought the plagues, and they didn't have
Wars.
they didn't have rubber boots back then. You know what I mean? They're walking through mud in these horrible footwear. I think of that stuff. Like, life was hard. Life was really actually hard back then. Like, when you think about the luxuries we have today in society, in the first world country in North America, they had a very, very hard existence. They didn't have hospitals with the healthcare we have, right? They didn't have pharmacies where you could just pop some Tylenol back then. Like, life was really hard. No electricity. Holy, like, I'm going off on a tangent here, but like, when you sit and think about someone who went through that much strife in their life, and then they still had the courage to go and take on these brave, new, scary adventures, then you look at your own life and go, man, I've got every comfort I could ever want or need, and I'm not willing to take a little bit of risk to something new. Come on. Right? That and that gratitude work kind of gave me that perspective as well. So back to the Millionaire Morning. I really, really love the gratitude work. That's another 15 minutes. That's the second half of the first half hour. And that's what I call my anchor for the day. And that's my gratitude work. So I sit there and I think about anything that comes to mind. I'm kind of open to the universe. I like to thank the universe for all the gifts and the abilities it's given me, physically, intellectually, right? There's a lot of people in this world that are not good with math and that they can't problem solve. Like, those intellectual skills that we have, we often take for granted, right? Being able to think logically, right? Having a strong cognitive sense is really important, especially for growing a business or investing and, you know, really maximizing wealth so you can help other people. You need to have those things, right? And those are not things that we did on our own. These are gifts that we were given, right? So being truly grateful for that as a gift. So that's the first half hour. So we do I love yous in the mirror, I am affirmations, gratitude work, and then we roll into Bob Proctor. So Bob Proctor's program, Thinking into Results, every day, twice a day, we watch one of the Bob Proctor lessons in Thinking into Results. And there's 12 lessons, and that sounds like not a lot, but I'll tell you, each lesson we'll work on for 2-3 weeks. And when you go on to the next one and you go through all 12, and it takes a few months, you'll come back to lesson 1 after going through all 12. And it's like you've never heard it before. There is so much in that lesson to unpack, and there's so many little nuggets that are so impactful that can really change and shape your thought process, that it's like, I really enjoy watching them, because the more I watch them, the more I learn. So, yeah, and that's another 20 minutes. The next 20 minutes is Bob Proctor.
Yeah, I was going to say, I listen to Bob Proctor when I'm at the gym, and I find sometimes I will listen to the same video on repeat for the hour that I'm working out, because every time that I listen to it, I'm picking out different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Go on. Yep.
Go on. Okay. Yeah. No. That's what I'm talking about. So after the Bob Proctor video, really with the personal development course is the core foundation, because Bob was such a visionary. Bob was such a leader in personal development, and he studied the greats. He was personal friends with Earl Nightingale, right? And he studied Napoleon Hill and Maxwell Maltz and Wallace D. Wattles and all these massive goats in the personal development space for 60 years. Like, he studied this stuff like for a crazy long time. So that is like a really, really important part of the Millionaire Morning, is getting in those Bob videos. And then when that's finished, we do our goal setting on paper. And it's important that we write out our goals every single day. There is a massive power in writing something out on paper, your thoughts, your goals, your dreams. And if you do that repetition and that consistently every single day, it has a lot of power. And then we also have a goal card. So I'll do two things. I'll write out my goals on paper, and then I'll also write out a mini goal card that I carry in my pocket and that I can reference throughout the day. Yeah. And the theory behind that, well, it's not even a theory, it's actual fact. You take out that goal card as many times throughout the day as possible, and you read out your goals and you attach emotion to them. And the more often you do this, the more you are bringing it to existence, right? Because you're giving it energy, and our thoughts have energy. I think that should be our next episode. We'll talk about
we're gonna do a show
the energy of thought.
Yes, and the importance of goal setting and how to set a good goal.
So the goal setting is very key, very important. And the program, we learn about, what is a good goal? Like, there's big goals and little goals, achievable goals, huge dreams. So you learn to categorize those goals, and then over time, we learn how to sift through the most important ones, and we really get a good idea of what is actually our goals. And some of them change over time, and they should. But this exercise every single day is really important. And it's something that we've incorporated in our lives, and we do every single day. And the crazy thing is that, like, we've each knocked off goals in the last 6 months right off the list, which is wild. Multiple goals. So there's a lot of power in that. And before thinking into results and before personal development, I thought I knew how to set a goal. Like, I didn't think of myself as not being a goal-oriented person. I really considered myself like, I know what a goal is. I know how to set a goal, and I know how to achieve a goal. And, I'm disciplined and dedicated, and I can do that. But I really had no idea what true goal setting was. And the program really opened my eyes, at least, to that world of true goal setting and being clear and attaching emotion to your goals.
Yeah. For me, when I'm doing personal development, the I am affirmation videos or Bob videos, any type of video really, my mornings are a little bit different because I usually have the kids. And I love that because that's when I put it on. I'm going to put it on in the kitchen while I'm making their breakfast because they're there and they're absorbing it. And it's funny because we see them, they've started to quote certain things and they have their own favorite I am affirmations.
Yeah.
We actually do an exercise sometimes where they get to write their own, and it's so fascinating because they each have different ones, different I am affirmations that they want to hold on to, and I'll put them in their school lunch boxes, so that throughout the day they can look at them. And so, it's never too young to embrace a new way of thinking, because in school, so often, we really start to lose our sense of imagination, right? Because the school system is all about memorizing information, taking tests, and learning very specific things. And you end up leaving school and you realize, oh gosh, I've lost that dreamer aspect to how I think. And so through personal development, you also get opportunities throughout the day to tap back into that,
Mm-hmm.
right? To tap back into, what does that perfect life look like? We as adults tend to not even want to go there because we don't want to be disappointed, right? We don't want to dream because we think that this is as good as it's going to get, right? And in injecting personal development to your day, a lot of what you get to do is you get to dream again, and you get to have fun using your imagination.
Visioneering.
So, do you want to touch on your second hour? I think we're still on your first hour.
Oh,
I know that you still have a second hour. So, do you want to?
So that usually takes me to pretty much the full first hour by the time I've finished setting the goals, writing them on paper, and attaching emotion to each goal, and really sitting with that emotion and feeling like, wow, I can see myself when I achieve this goal. What am I wearing? One of our goals is to donate $1 million to the Sick Kids Hospital. And it's really close to our hearts because we were there with our second. He was born with some issues, and we ended up living in the hospital for a little while. And the hospital is very dear and close to our hearts. And Tamar worked there for a number of years as well. So that's on our goal list. That's on mine. I write it out every single morning. I can picture myself handing the check for $1 million to the hospital. I know what I'm wearing. I know the suit I'm in. I know the shoes I'm in. I know the cologne I'm wearing. I know the watch I have on. I can see myself, and I'm manifesting that day and that moment. So visioneering is very important. So we can do a whole thing on visioneering, but that's hour number one. Hour number two is really getting after your tasks for the day. So this is why I usually like to do my Millionaire Mornings earlier in the morning from 5 to 7 before the kids get up, because the second hour I can hammer out emails, social media posts. If there's calls I need to make and schedule that day, I can really hammer out, and sort of in a very loose fashion, I can time block my day and really get everything on there and make sure that it's all organized so that anything I can knock out in the morning in that hour, I can really get ahead of the day. Boom, 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 boom. Get all the emails out, reminders, phone calls, everything's lined up. Maybe I'm underwriting a deal for real estate. And then I'm really set up for success for the day, because I've put on my my emotional armor. I've put on my Millionaire Morning me armor. I call it my me armor, because I'm now ready mentally to take on the challenges of the day. And for a lot of people, I think that can be a very powerful tool, because most of us, without that tool, and I know myself included before taking this program, you get started on your day, and the first thing you tackle, and I mean, this even happened to me today. First thing you tackle, you think is going to take five minutes, and then you're into it for an hour and a half, and you haven't solved the problem, and you're like, I have so much more I need to be doing right now. I don't have an answer for this. I can't find this, and this won't work, and it can't sign into this. And if you don't have the tools, and you haven't set your calm mind, and you haven't done your gratitude work, and you're not in the flow with the universe, you're going to be really forcing it, and that stress and anxiety starts to build. And anyone who's an entrepreneur or running a business, or even just day to day at your job, you understand that stress happens and things come up out of your control. And if you're not suited with the tools to deal with them, it can be very, very difficult. Right?
Well, yeah, 100%. And one of the quotes that I love, it's from a Brian Tracy talk about successful people. And the thing that he says is just, I laugh every time that I hear him say it. It's so funny because it's so true. As he says, if I ask my audience how many people have problems, they'll raise their hand, and he'll say, that's because life is a series of problems. Right? You're, as a successful person, you're constantly navigating from problem to problem. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a problem, that's probably because you're having a crisis. So life will be problem, 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 crisis. Problem,
Yeah.
problem, problem, crisis. Right? And it's how you deal with these problems that get you better at solving problems. Right?
Definitely.
And so I think that when you think of it from that perspective, then problems, when they arise, don't seem quite as overwhelming. And they don't seem quite as challenging because you know, okay, here's something that I'm going to need to address. I'm going to need to figure this out. I'm going to need to be creative. I'm going to need to pivot. And that's okay. Right? And it's that developing that bounce back that is one of the key tools for becoming a successful human. Is that when life gives you any of those obstacles, you're able to navigate and continue on. And we have learned to develop that bounce back so much more quickly.
Way quicker.
Yeah, because we've got all of these tools. You've done the Millionaire Morning, I've done the gratitude and the I Am affirmations, and we've set ourselves up so that when those problems arise, we go, okay, let me deal with this. Let me take away the lesson from this. And, the brain has a cybernetic mechanism. If you've read the book Psycho-Cybernetics, it will tell you the more problems you solve, the better you get at solving problems.
True.
That is the key element for anybody that is listening to this who is an entrepreneur. There's always going to be things that come up, and it's your ability to navigate and continue on rather than get frazzled or get into a place of blame and doubt and fear and worry. That it's that bounce back that is going to be the defining tool for you as an entrepreneur / successful person. And it's through personal development. It's through taking that time in the morning to tap into that gratitude, to really truly know the bigger picture and what it is that you're working towards. Because then when all those little unforeseen things happen, you go, you know what, that's okay because I'm still going here. Right?
That's not easy to do.
And it's not easy to do, and some days are harder.
In the beginning.
Well, even today, I would say that there's things that sometimes can knock me off my good vibrations, sometimes for even a few days. Where you'll just go into a place of doubt or fear or whatever emotion you go through, and that's okay, right? It's okay because it's just the ability to bring yourself back that is really important. And one of the things that I like to do with my day as well throughout the day is you have to always bring it back, right? You have to always consistently be coming back to this good vibration. And so, we talked about how in the morning and at night your brain is in the alpha wave. Well, during the day you're in beta wave. You're in doing mode. You're really alert. However, that doesn't mean that you can't take time throughout your day to tap back into that really receptive place where you can continue to work on your mind and your soul and your body. You can bring yourself back into an alpha wave anytime you want. It's called meditation, right? Meditations come with breathing exercises and relaxation exercises. And it's taking those times throughout your day to get yourself into your most relaxed state, right? That's really key. And I can tell you something for me throughout my day. When I spend more time focusing on being relaxed and calming my brain and not overthinking, right? Because we're going to get all into not controlling the how and being able to have your goal and set your goals and then going with the flow, which is another paradigm thing that's really hard for me. But I will tell you that 99% of the time, it's been the times that I've been the most quiet that I've had these really amazing moments of inspiration. And I've had the most creative thoughts pop into my brain of things that I should do, ideas that I should start. My sense of purpose, which is not something that I was clear on when we started this whole journey. Personal development for me, when I was asked what is my goal or sense of purpose, I thought to be a good mom. And that felt okay, but there was maybe something missing. And so it was in those moments of meditation and just clearing my brain that this inspiration came. And I'll tell you about my purpose. We're going to get all into that in detail. But for today, talking about our day-to-day routine and how we incorporate personal development, for me, it's as a chronic overthinker and someone whose brain is always on the go, for me, personal development is really about that relaxation mode and allowing my brain times to relax, be in the moment, be present. Just being present in my body is something that I need to constantly work on. And it's in those moments that I will tap back into my gratitude, into my I am affirmations, into looking at my goal. The more you look at your goal, the better. You can have it in your pocket. You can have it on your desk. We all have little sticky notes everywhere, just as reminders throughout the day of what you're working towards.
Speaking of.
Yeah, gratitude alarm.
Good. I mean, on that note, that's a lot of the stuff that we do throughout the day. And, I touched on what I do in the morning. But like Tamar said, throughout the day, as things come up and challenges present themselves, you need to be able to bring yourself back to that place of calmness, that place of peace, and that place of understanding that the universe is going to work out in your favor. And if you're able to do that, you realize that there's really nothing that you can't take on. And our mentor taught us something that I really love, and it's that number one, you watch your words, because words hold a lot of power. And in saying that, we now have no problems. Because really the only problem is someone this morning woke up with stage 4 cancer. That's a problem. Anything short of that, we can handle, right? So, and even that, there's people here in this world who, my God, they've beaten stage 4 cancer and lived. Like, that's insane. So I think those people are like Yoda level, like guru mindset. They should be coaching this all day long. But the point is that we often get caught up in our own issues and our own problems and perception that we have these things in our lives that are really hard to overcome. So when you get into that place of gratitude and you start from that place every day and you can kind of maintain that, you realize that there really are no problems, right?
Yeah, and the thing about personal development, what do we mean when we say personal development? So personal development is learning to understand how your brain works and how to make it work in your favor. That is the personal development journey, because as soon as you understand that your thoughts have an energy and your thoughts have substance to them, and you start identifying what those thoughts are and changing them, life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on this journey with us, guys. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next episode.